for tours. You've got to check it out. But yeah, you can see him there just fishing pole that kite loop, pulling his weight backwards to get the maximum rotating. Kick it there, not quite getting the landing in the bundle. You can see winds a little bit less wind here today. Hopefully we're feeling a little bit further in the final rounds. You can see my little Kiket there looking like John Travolta with the head, all the hair going back, or maybe Julio Iglesias would be more the way to say it for him.
Well, he's got a few moves in him, hasn't he? On and off the water. Little 16-year-old. We were going to see if he could floss earlier. What was that move you got him to do the other day in the interview?
Oh, the Anguilla. Yeah, Kiket, I mean, he's such a funny character. You know, for such a youngster, he has his, his feet on the ground, really humble, great to see. And obviously, being the Grom on the beach, if we ever see him step out of check, all of us would be there to smack him right back in line. So very, very good ride. And you see the drone riding around there trying to cut everybody's lines.
Yeah, as we step up in performance, as we come to head towards the semi-finals, and thankfully, we're through the technical hitches on this Sunday afternoon. In the top left corner of the live score heats, we're just waiting for those zeros to go up. We have seen some scores registered, but it is going to make the viewing for the semis and finals that much better to be able to see what score the riders are chasing down. 2 tricks scoring in this big air competition. Mavic drone there just in the foreground, catching the action.
Not quite getting the height on these moves at the moment. They need to be jacking that kite across or getting a bigger kite. A lot of these riders, they're so used to riding 8s and 9s that sometimes they forget that. I'm fortunate enough that the industry does have 12s, 14-meter kites. Although for the strapless riding, I know guys like Ayrton, they don't like to go anything over 11 because they want that loopability. It's such an important aspect for it there. And here we can see the heat progressing so far. So Reece will be going up against Ayrton in the next round, and now in between the winner between Gustavo and Kiko and Mito and Loro, they will meet in the semi-finals to then go up against each other in either mini or super finals. So that's going to be a very action-packed semi-final and final bracket.
Yep. Confirmation there coming up next. We haven't seen him yet because he had a bye through the first round. Everybody's favourite, Mito Montero. Get the party started this Sunday afternoon. Both riders coming in. It is Gustavo out the back who opts to pull the trigger on a back roll with a little grab. Nice little bend of the knees to show the judges he had that in the bag. That's going to be one of our female competitors coming up. That's Sonia, isn't it?
Sonia Bunter, yeah, did a nice performance there in the double elimination. Not quite making it through a heat, but great to see the girls pushing on the strapless freestyle. Here we have Kiket going for it, looking at the chop. You can see the X-ray vision there. Just seeing Gustavo up and away. Rodeo coming down. Does he land it? That's a very good trick. That's going to be wow scored, nice style, and I'm sure Gustavo's seen that here. We can see him coming in with a speed, Jim.
Yeah, important Kike got that right. Straight over the head of Gustavo. Gustavo wouldn't have liked that. Can he respond? No.
Oh.
The exuberance of youth. Whoa, steady there, Gustavo.
Giving us a little bit of a full moon here for the public. Thank you, Gustavo. We're not a fan of that one there.
Yeah, we can see the suntan doesn't quite extend all the way there. But, so yeah, update 13.53 for Kike. Well deserved. That was a huge front roll. 70% for height. He would have been pushing the judges for most of that. Tally for that trick. And hopefully we can bring you the individual breakdown. 7.6 being his highest. I would imagine it was for that big front roll. As we watch Kike come down, just after he lands this, no, he doesn't. But we are just going to shoot outside. Marcus is with Ayrton Cozzolino.
Yes, guys, here with the winner of the competition. Oh my! You have a little bump in your board here. What's going on?
Yeah, today is a big jump, and yesterday after all these landings, my legs feel a little bit painful, but no problem. With some ice and go. I always like to do a big jump, so it was a late decision for me to do it. But I feel good, it's not so painful, but I think tonight's gonna hurt.
How is your mindset right now? 1 win, maybe 2 wins in 1 comp.
Yeah, that's always focusing for, always wanna do that, In every competition we have this kind of best trick and big jump, and I always wanted to do my best in both. So yeah, this is fun for the crowd too because we just it's about to flying huge, You know, the wind just dropped a bit, but I think it's going to be good in a little bit, yeah. So keep on and you're going to see crazy stuff.
A little quick shout out in Portuguese, maybe.
Yeah, vamos aí, galera. Estamos hoje aqui na Prea. Estamos fazendo o big jump. Tem um bom vento aqui. Tá baixando um pouco, mas positivo, vai subir. Estou super contente de estar aqui, fazer o big air. Estou com um pouco da pancada aqui na perna, mas dá um pouco de gelo, tá bom? Na água.
The Warrior, keep rocking. Back to you guys, JK.
The Warrior, indeed. Well done, Ayrton Kutzelino. What a flagship he is. Flagship superstar for this World Tour. And just what we saw in the background there, it looked like Kiko for the second time trying to boost the jump over Gustavo's head, coming in a little bit closer, but that wasn't the one. That was the big, nice front roll. Gustavo made the back roll with a tic-tac into the rodeo right there, still with a bit of remainder of the rotation to go. Brings the board underneath. Bounces out the landing.
Yeah, Kiko just seemed to be going a little bit higher. Obviously, a little bit lighter than Gustavo there. The winds aren't coming through as much as we expected. But there you go, Kiko going huge. Front loop rodeo, controlling the kite. Nice, looking at his landing, getting the board back underneath him. You can see him looping there. And yeah, coming in for the land and the wind going through to the semi-finals.
Foi sumido. O sabor original de Sprite voltou.
Welcome back, everybody. Here with Jim Gaunt from Kite World and media manager here for the GKA. I'm Josie Ashler, tour manager for the GKA. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. And here we have the first appearance of Mito Monteiro in the big air competition. And what a way to start. Oh, not quite making the landing. And he is against Brazilian Leonardo Loro, residing in Australia. We're very impressed with this rider, and this is going to be a nice heat.
Here we go. This looks like third board of the competition for Leonardo Loro. He was riding a really, really aggressive down-the-line wave board earlier. Looks like he's switched up to an F1 more freestyle-inspired board with the channels underneath. Who's that we got there? Joe, one of the instigators of the sport, runs a school with Mito in Cape Verde. No doubt he's going to be paying attention to this heat as we pan down the riders there. Sebastian Ribeiro having an easy Sunday afternoon. Winner of the big air competition in Fuerteventura, James Carew.
Yeah, James going huge and Fuerte. And there, Joe Silva, also one of the guys involved in the organization of our event in Cape Verde and South. So big shout out to him and thank you for your support.
Now, I wonder if James has decided not to enter this big air competition. It doesn't count towards the World Championship. It's purely for show. But he cannot help himself but go huge. Runs the risk of injury, obviously. And we are heading to his hometown next month in December for the final stop. No doubt he is looking forward to putting on a show there. So perhaps, you know, taking it easy this afternoon, enjoying his last day in Prea, watching the boys put on a show. Mito Monteiro in front of you here. Back roll with a little grab. Piloting the kite down as he knows how to do so well.
Such a nice maneuver, that one from Mito. He has that on lockdown. He just goes up, puts the board into the wind. Nice vertical rotation over the top. And you can see Leonardo just shouting out to him, giving him a congrats there. Great to see. This is Leonardo. There's that switch reverse. We saw, it's a shame. We saw that in the double elimination. It's a really cool move there from him. Double front with a rodeo, 2 switch stance there from Mito. Mito Monteiro keeping busy, obviously rested up last night and is coming here with fire.
He indeed is. If those scores are led to believe, I imagine Mito's scores is going to go up in a minute, but already a pretty good early score from Loro, who has, he's definitely got the old juggling skills down, hasn't he? When he does that, he pops up left foot forward and manages to switch his feet really early, puts the board in front of him. Looks really good, kind of like... But the way the board comes down at an angle when he does it on the inside, it's a bit of an ankle breaker, that. But he managed to get down, put the landing gear down and ride it out the last time on the way inside. So, but there we go, Mito Monteiro flexing his muscles.
Let's see what he's got for us here on the
13.4.
inside. There you go, eyeing up the chop, eye of the tiger going up. Back row, tic-tac, textbook right there. That's if anybody needs a progression video of how to do a back roll tic-tac from strapless, I think that would be a good example, Jim.
Yeah. Just coming in left foot forward, carving his way around there, switching his feet later on. Heading out back. Obviously one of the best wave riders in the world. Such a joy to see him, but in terms of strapless freestyle, he was the guy who first started it, and his friends a couple of years later, Ayrton, Cozzolino and Machu Lopez, also from Cape Verde. About a decade younger than him, saw what he was doing, got involved, and now they have their own world tour, of which they are regularly in the top 5. Cape Verde dominating the podium generally in the last 3 years on this side of the sport. Peppered with Australians like Kiahi de Boiters every now and again coming in and shaking up the order, but at the moment, this is a big air competition between Montero against Leonardo Loro.
Leonardo Loro, yeah, residing in Australia. Really good rider. Been having some nice style. There you go, that double back row. Nice landing there from Leonardo. Yeah, he's been a solid rider, surprise here in this event. And we have Mito, nice stance going up. What has he got for us? Up, looping it, looks at the kite, makes sure, comes in like a ton of bricks and makes it look like nothing. Amazing from Mr. Mito Montero.
Yeah, everything seems to happen with steady regularity, doesn't it? As we were appreciating with Ayrton, you really get a good chance to see what they're doing with the bar. Sheeting in, sheeting out, one hand on, pulling the end of the bar. And you can see as Mito took off there, as he was taking off and had taken flight, just shifted his hand towards the end of the bar to give him some extra leverage to get that kite round before sheeting out pretty aggressively to help his landing. Loro just not quite sticking that double back roll at the back. Points look close there, 10.17, 13.84, but I would imagine those two average 5 scores are fairly healthy scores for Loro, so definitely going to have to pull something big out of the bag to take down Mito Montero. There's an outfit.
Nice little reverse landing going out. Yeah, I really like how Leonardo Loro, he has those reverse landings really nicely under control. Comes in with power, front foot on the board, making sure that he's got those friends lifted up because of the chop. Mito going big, just losing the board there in mid-rotation. And Leonardo, he's going for that double. He actually had that landed before. I think he has a, if I'm not mistaken, from the double elimination, he has a switch stance variation of that. So he does the first rotation vertically, second rotation horizontally, and then switches his feet just at the end to turn it into a drive. So I think that's probably the maneuver he's looking for.
Right. Hopefully we'll see that come to fruition for him, and he can close the gap a little bit on Mito. Mito coming into this heat as the strong favourite.
Let's see what he's got for us on the outside. He'd had a really lofty front roll 1 foot yesterday, Mito. Huge. I think it was in the heat against Machu going over the top of him.
What a heat that was.
I think he heard me. There you go. Similar to that. Bit bigger yesterday, but that was the maneuver that probably gave him one of the edging moments against his countryman, Machu Lopez.
Yeah, yesterday's competition, for me, a watershed moment in this side of the sport, and some of the heats we saw yesterday were some of the best I've ever seen in kiteboarding competition in general. Close battles, lots of aerial maneuvers, great wins. So yeah, we're coming off the back of that into Sunday, into this big air competition. The big air competition usually, the main spectacle of the event, riders riding completely free of constraint, but yesterday you have to check it out. The men's final between Camille Delanoy and Ayrton Cozzolino, the man on your screen right there. It is going to go down in the memory banks, that one. So we have produced it as a standalone final. You can watch it in full as it was produced on the live stream. Super slow-mo replays and everything. It's available right now on the Global Kite Sports Association YouTube channel. If you are still hungry for action, I suggest after this big air final, you go and check that out.
There's Leonardo Loro starting a nice no-grab back roll there. Stylish, getting the board up against the wing karate kick around. I really like this tic-tac from Leonardo. He almost makes it look like a shover, but helping himself with the hand. Really flicks the board around with speed, catches it, stops it, and puts it back under his feet. And here's Mito, back roll, casual, Mr. Smooth, lands it in the flats there. Beautiful execution.
Yeah, keeps the core tight, legs tucked up, doesn't he, until the last moment. Mito if you are looking for the technical textbook, it is this man that you need to look towards. Although you can't read too much into it because the cat-like tendencies of him and Ayrton to be able to ride out seemingly impossible landing situations.
Yeah, they can come out at anything. They just like spin around. Looks like they're going to come in head first, and then suddenly twist their body, get the board underneath them, ride off, and you're there with your mouth open, going, "How did they do that?"
It is why this sport is taking off in terms of spectacle for local crowds. We are in a more remote location in the northeast of Brazil, but some of the more populated areas that we go to, particularly Tarifa, thousands of people come down to the beach for the party atmosphere. There is the Strapless Freestyle World Tour as we watch Loro making his last manoeuvre of the heat, but it looks like Mito's gone through. We will confirm after this break.
Welcome back, guys. We're just going to be going into the semi-finals here of the Big Air competition. But first, we have our compadre outside, Marcos. Marcos, hi.
Win with Powerhouse. We're missing the guy here in the Big Air. Hey, James, we won the Port Ventura. Hey, what happened, man? We're missing you down there.
Yeah, it kind of sucks to be watching from the beach, but unfortunately I kind of split my tie open in my last heat yesterday, so I'm not competing today, but it's still awesome to watch Ayrton throw down like always.
Nice shade to watch the comp.
Yeah, perfect spot.
All right, mate, let me check with Sebastian here from Brazil. Hey, Sebastian, do you change your gear when you go to move yourself for a Big Air competition?
Actually, we change our gear. Usually we go with bigger kites. Yeah, we need a lot more power to go big. And usually I change my board. You know, I keep the magic one for the competition, and for the big air, that's pretty easy to break your board in half because you're going bigger. I change my board, so that's pretty much what we do.
Amazing, thanks for the tips. Back to you guys, Joe and Jimmy.
Thanks, Marcos. Get James some sunscreen. Okay, so we're back in the water. We have powerhouse Mr. Ayrton Cosolino against Reece Myerscott, who has been doing such a good event here.
Yeah, test doesn't come much bigger than Ayrton Cosolino, although it will have given Reece a little bit of hope if he saw Ayrton wandering around the beach there with an ice pack. Any other rider would probably sit it out, but it just wouldn't be right. Ayrton could not sit there not being part of a competition. I remember in Fuerteventura one year we tried to do like a relay race, and he had to wait for the flagman to come across as a kind of bunny race start. We couldn't get him to wait until the bunny man had come over. He was third man down, and we had to restart it a few times. Just super keen and ego. He's not going to stay off the water, and it's that want to win mentality that sees him out there again with a little injury. Will he be riding within himself? We'll see just in a minute. But Reece has gotten a big task to beat Ayrton Cosolino in this two-trick format. Two tricks scoring, all about big air. Ayrton leaving the board behind. Cameraman sensibly goes back to Reece.
I mean, Ayrton being one of the Red Bull sponsored riders out here, so obviously Red Bull does give you wings, so that's why he likes a competition like this, going big or going home. He's always a 0 to 100, such a powerful rider. And here we have some of the wonderful ladies. We have Marcela, Charlotte, and Capucine, Camille's Delanois, younger sisters. So much talent there. These girls have been ripping. Great to see how they have improved, and you can see they're just having fun here on the Brazilian shores.
A few little warm-up maneuvers there, just loosening up the joints, no doubt. Ayrton just fresh down from something there. We will find it in the replay package, no doubt. Probably spectacular. Reece would have known what it was, though. He'll have done the numbers. He'll know what he's got to do. Here he goes off a little bit of chop. He's getting good height. He's getting good hang time in this competition as well.
Nice move. Really nice move there from Reece. Back roll, tic-tac, landing, loops it underneath. Like you say, he's getting really good height. Once again, what do you reckon, kite loop, Jim?
It's generally 50-50, isn't it? I'd say it's 70-30, probably going with the judging score. 70% always pulls a kite loop. Here we go, right hand on the bar. Watch it send the kite into a loop if he does it. Left hand off, going to catch the board. There it goes, straight into the kite loop. Pulled it nice and early. No problem whatsoever. The earlier you pull the kite loop, the more committed you are to it. Gives you no chance to assess your flight path and decide to evade the kite loop if you want to. Ayrton went into that straight from the start, the only way he knows how. There's no bail.
Oh, almost bailing on that fin there. I really like, you can see when Ayrton starts to have his flow, I mean, like you say, he's a little bit injured, has had so much of a beating over the last 2 days of competition. He just can't sit on the beach. I think we'd have to tie him down, duct tape him to a chair, and I'm sure I have a few guys that would help me out doing that to even maybe be possible for him to not go into the competition. Yeah,
one of the most competitive people I have ever met, but one of the nicest guys as well. Super relaxed, has loads of time. He's one of the most popular riders on tour for good measure. A real crowd pleaser. There's another one, Mito Montero. Just getting his rash vest ready. He's going to be up in the second semi-final.
Yeah, Mito, one of the instigators of our strapless sport, and still every time pretty much on the podium, giving the kids a run for their money, and still an amazing all-round rider. And if you ever have the opportunity to meet Mito on and off the water, a champion, has a smile for everybody, doesn't matter if it's freestyle or waves, such a performance. And what was that, Jim?
Wild. Wild, a little bit ragged, a little bit raw, and then just silky smooth at the end. So
that's that double back loop rodeo from Ayrton. I mean, you would not want to be that board. He's literally pulling it around. So let's see how Reece responds. Goes up, tic-tac, nice. He trying that double tic-tac. I'm impressed with Reece. He's actually getting some really nice high maneuvers, and great to see the Canadian, the improvement he's had. Usual for the tour now, following us since the whole year on every single event. Great to have him here.
Yeah, it is indeed. 13.32 has been a respectable heat score in any other heat from 2-score average, but Ayrton pushing over the 17-point mark again means he has an 8.83, which is incredible. So right there, here we go. So that is confirmation. It's going to be Mito Montero against Kiko coming up right now. We are in Heat 7A, if you look just to the right of your screen there. Reece in the big blue felt tip pen. Not sure why he stands out, but he has been standing out, hasn't he?
He has been standing out.
Seems fair to use a different pen for Reece. He's definitely stood out in terms of the competition. Most improved rider. One of the most improved riders in the competition this year.
Yeah, really solid.
Has it all to do against Ayrton.
So that was another good hit. I think let's have a look at the scores there. Looks like Ayrton has got the win on that one with 17.8 against a 13.52. Really good riding from Reece though. I like those back loops. And here you go. Kite loop committed through the air. Does he land it? He does. That was the one we missed. Solid performance in Ayrton. Sky high, spinning around. Nice and easy, nice and lofty. I think you can definitely see why he won this big air heat, because he was going higher every single time.
Yeah, totally in tune with the concept. Reece did as well as he could in terms of height. Ayrton just somehow is so in tune with the send of his kite, sending his kite really aggressively and just being able to tune into managing it one-handed as... There we go, 1, 2, little bit of inversion, comes back down. Look how he manages to stop it there. Yeah, that's enough.
Boom.
Just pause, yeah, land, yeah, nice.
Yeah, really good performance. 1, 2 again, over the top. Looks at this landing area, starts and see, there you go, you can see he's starting to loop that kite, so by the time he lands, he just goes through.
Reece going up with a back roll tic-tac. Let's see if he lands this one. Whether he does or he doesn't, we are heading to a commercial break, whatever happens.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here in the beautiful Brazil, and outside we have our colleague Marcos with Marcela Witt.
Thank you, Joe. She's always pumped, amped, and ready to go. She's just training strapless kite surfing in a couple of weeks. You were inside of the water trying new tricks, trying to learn new tricks?
Yeah, I'm trying to push myself a little bit more. So now I'm trying a double backhoe, and I really want to do it in my heat. So I'm gonna do it.
I'm not going to ask from the girls because this is not ethical, but what is your favorite rider from the boys, from the gringos maybe? Not to put your friends.
They're all really good. I don't have a favorite one because they're really good, and sometimes someone is better in waves, someone is better like in freestyle, someone better in strapless. So I have a lot of like idols.
Levels?
Yeah, they're really good. I don't have a favorite one.
Okay. Go Rip. You keep rocking, okay? Back to you guys. JJ.
Very sensibly done there. Marcela has her own TV show. Politically correct there, not siding with anyone. But the judges are gonna have to side with someone here because this is Kiko Roig against Mito Monteiro. They are playing for a place in the final against Ayrton Cozzolino, who will meet one of these two. It's and always making it to the generally making it to the final in the big air competition. It's all about show. It's not counting towards the World Championship, but you try stopping him progressing towards the final. Generally, he meets Mito Monteiro there as well. Kiko looking to upset that pattern. He's going to be on your screen in a minute.
A nice lofty jump there from Mito. Has a solid score on the board already, 5.9. Kiko just missing that first maneuver. Tacking in, I can see him looking, seeing the boys are going to be telling him what score he needs, how he's going. This is the beauty of this live scoring that we have here. And Reece Meyer-Scott just deciding that his bag isn't big enough for his board, so having to do a little split section there. Front roll, board off from Kiko. Nice rotation, happy with that, claiming it on the outside.
Yeah, that is not a production board from Reece. He is involved in board development with Ocean Rodeo and does have the luxury of playing around with a few different combinations.
Can I go, guys, here?
And we're going to find out about it now.
Yeah, we're going to find out what's happening, Rich.
Not much. I was just in the quarterfinals with Ayrton in the big air, and I came down a bit hard on a double tic-tac and snapped my board in half. So
Ayrton make you go another level?
Yeah, yeah, definitely shouldn't have tried to land it, but I did anyways. And
you're a BC guy, used to different temperatures of water, man. How about your full suit here in Ceara, warm water, so super hot waters?
Yeah, the reason why I'm actually wearing a wetsuit is because I get sunburned really easily because where I'm from, there's not very much sun. And if I don't have anything covering me, like preferably I'd have a super thin Lycra, but I just couldn't find one before I came. So this is just a super thin 2mm wetsuit, so I don't get sunburns, and it also protects me from the fins a little bit if they hit me, or yeah. That's
okay, thank you very much, man. Keep rocking. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Marcus. Yeah, Reece was telling me yesterday that you know, he is really doing quite a lot of experimentation with the boards at the minute, and managed to find in a couple of prototypes a way to shave 40% off the weight. So yeah, not helping with the durability, obviously, but when you are friends with the factory, I guess you can play around with some things, find some advantages. Looks like Kike thinks he's got an advantage there. Joe, you saw that one just in the top corner of the screen. Kike happy with it?
Yeah, that was a very nice front row tic-tac, great maneuver there. Oh, you can see Mito pulling at that bar. There you go, that's kite control. Maybe a little schmacker off for the little wave on the inside. Great landing. Kiko just pulling the advantage right now, 14.86 over 14.43. So the youngster showing that he's there, but there you go, experience. Mito Monteiro with that kite loop probably 15.53. So Kiko, very solid performance here, but still needs to pull all the cats out the bag.
Yeah, come on, boys. Things are stepping up now. Next round is the final where they will meet Ayrton Cozzolino. So the pace is increasing and the moves are going higher. This is Kike coming in, needs to make the landing because he is just under, well, he's just under a point.
Just under a point, yeah, really impressive. I think he was trying to go for a little flip in that one as well. He has that front loop tit tack on tap. He's really landing that consistency and needs a little extra point to go up against Mito. Mito here on the inside, I reckon. Maybe back roll, rodeo, solid move there. You know, mixing it up. Mito has so much competition experience. He knows where he is exactly, what point in the heat, minutes left, what he needs to do, and just showing how a heat is to be done.
Yeah, these riders looking for just their 2 best trick scores to get that average there. Judges looking for 70% height, 30% technicality, so the much larger portion is about the height. Generally, I tell you what, he's making a bit of a habit of that. That's perspective. He's not jumping over his head. I thought, again, he was going for it the 3rd time in a row. Did it twice to Gustavo. At the end of the heat, we saw Gustavo just going over, and it looked like he was saying, you did it once, that's all right, mate.
That's fine. 2 times, no. 3rd time's I'm going to land my kite on you.
You may be 16, but you've got to learn at some point.
You go Mito on the inside. What do you reckon? Back loop, rodeo, kite loop maybe, back loop. He had that one from before, so trying to improve the score. So solid on those landings. I mean, looks like a simple trick, but the amount of coordination and combination you have to loop the kite, grab the board, put it back under your feet, ride out from it. It's amazing. Oh, will that count? No, it won't. So unless we have a validation score pending, looks like Mito Montero has put an end to the run of Kiko Roy here for the competition this year.
Yep. Yeah, Kiko was up against it. One of the most improved riders on the tour. He's the youngest male rider as well against the oldest, most experienced rider, 35-year-old Mito Montero from Cape Verde. Looks like he's booked yet another heat against Ayrton Cozzolino. Kiko's had a good event, plenty of claims, peppered throughout the competition. Always happy to land a trick, but nobody lands more tricks than Mito, I would say, or more combinations. He's the king of the combination, isn't he? But we're not looking for combinations necessarily in this big air competition. 70% height, 30% technicality. So yeah, there is plenty of points for technicality, but most for height.
Great move there. There you go. That double front rodeo with the switch of the feet, really nice. And this is that front loop tic-tac from Kiko. This is why the scores were so close. I mean, I think what was it, 15 points? There might be a small, there we go, what we were saying about the validation points. We're just waiting for confirmation, but here on screen at the moment we have 15.77 for Kiko and 15.53 for Mito. So obviously few scores still coming in. Let's see how the end of this heat comes out.
Indeed. Indeed. As we see Mito, this is going to be, we're going to need a clinical result here to see who's in the final against Ayrton Cozzolino. We'll find out.
Foi sumido. O sabor original de Sprite voltou.
So you rejoin us as we are waiting to hear who is going to meet Ayrton Cozzolino in the final. The 2 guys who've just flashed away from your screen have just competed in a 7-minute heat in the Big Air semi-final, second Big Air semi-final. It was Reece against Canada, against Ayrton Cozzolino. We are going to be kept on tenterhooks to find out what happens there, but for now we're going to head outside. I believe Marcus is with Yalu Langere, event winner from yesterday.
Yeah, right, Jimmy. I'm here with the Dutch Queen. What about 6 days straight, high temperatures, high-level kite surfing? Are you kind of overtraining hangover?
Yeah, I kind of feel a bit hangover. I've been here for over 16 days, and I've been riding every day for like 4 to 5 hours, and yeah, the heat is really like intense. And yeah, today is the first day that I feel super tired. I'm just about to enter my heat for the big air session, so I hope that I can still squeeze out that last bit of energy and yeah, hopefully take another podium place.
You're gonna squeeze it. And
no, the gear is still kind of the same. I'm just taking a bigger kite than I will usually take, just to get air. But I don't want to take a too big of a kite because otherwise I can't like take off properly. So yeah, it's a bit of a different kind of thing.
Amazing. Keep rocking. I think she's going to go higher and higher each and every time. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Marcos. Yeah, Jalou Langret putting on a top performance yesterday. So here we have the ladies on your screen now. Charlotte Carpentier. So again, nice little body varial transition there. And it looks like we have Capucine Delonois against her here. Just on the bottom left-hand corner, I could see her there. Yep, there you go. So France versus France. This is a French-off.
Yes, it is. So here we go. Charlotte Carpentier, currently third on the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour, competing today in a big air competition, a standalone competition. Bragging rights available only, not counting towards the World Tour, but it is one that the riders often want to win. It's another chance to go up against your competitors who also compete on the World Tour, but slightly different format. Just urges the riders to develop the big air side of the riding. So nice to forget about so much technicality sometimes, isn't it? And just let loose on a Sunday, Joe.
Absolutely, yeah, just let loose and go high. And talk about going high, very close last heat, but coming out on top against Mito Montero was Quiquet Roy. So congratulations, Quiquet from Spain. Great performance there. And you can see Mito Montero just probably wanting to see how the scoring went there, because that was very close. And once again here, front and center, Charlotte Carpentier riding core, little trying that kite loop, ramming that bar around. Unfortunately not quite getting the height. And Capucine Delonois, very solid score there already on the board with a 7.27. So 12 years of age, very impressive rider. But I mean, if you have Camille Delonois to teach you all of the secrets, you have a slight advantage there, Jim.
Yeah, Camille, one of the riders capable of getting the most height we have ever seen in this competition. Has some of that rubbed off on his sister. Has she watched him enough times, been inspired to fly? She's only 12. Neither of these girls weighing very much. They should fly pretty well. Charlotte opting for some more spins. She's going to need to go higher. Keeps wanting to unspin that bar as well. Seems focused on that.
Yeah, sometimes it's great about unspinning the bar so you have it equally as good, but sometimes too many variables just at the end of a trick sometimes can play against you, and I think maybe that case it did for Charlotte. So here we have Capucine eyeing, trying that little back row on the outside chop. You know, getting the board up against herself, just unfortunately didn't kick that back leg around, kept the board a little bit straight. So once her body was going more in a vertical rotation, the board didn't quite follow her and not completing that maneuver.
Oh, that's a nice pop.
There you go.
That's better. It would. We've seen it throughout the competition. It would serve her better, wouldn't it, to unspin the bar after the trick. Obviously, the lines are very malleable, and you see the riders spinning many, many times, and it's possible to ride for a really long time with your lines spun. Obviously, there's a bit more friction in terms of the steering, but there's no need to unspin your bar right away. There's the view from the judges' tower, 5 of them checking out the tricks today. Gilly Brandau's not a judge, so he is allowed on his phone. There we go, Alvaro Nieva, double sunglasses, Rui Miera looking on. Head judge Danny Jimenez.
Looks like he needs some glasses there, squinting at his screen. And the Capital General Juan Antonio Aragon, our race director.
What a team.
What a team. What a bunch. What a bunch.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to working with these guys. You know, one big family, always a laugh, and you know, great atmosphere here on the beach. And during the whole tour, all these guys are like family. A lot of us have known each other for many, many years. So very lucky to be part of this Global Kitesurfing World Championship.
Yeah, indeed. If you have anything to do with events, event management, or anything like that as part of your job or college or whatever, you will understand that it is a close relationship. Spend many, many hours together, and the GKA Kiteboarding and Kite-Surfing World Tours are tight. Working really, really closely with the riders. Obviously, many, many hours spent together traveling, and 5 to 6 days together at an event site. And there we go. That's the heat ladder for the women's big air competition, which you're watching right now. We're in the first heat. Capucine Delanoy against Charlotte Carpentier. So there's 4 heats in round 1. 4 riders are going to go through to the semi-finals, and then there'll be a final and a mini-final. And it looks to me like Carla Herrera has been given a bye to the semi-final.
Yeah, she did really well yesterday and has one of the highest scoring moves. Oh, Capucine not too happy about the end of that, but did she do enough? Let's see. I think she might not be happy because obviously they haven't got. There's that kite loop there from Carpentier, not quite getting the height, looping the kite. Little rodeo, not quite able to complete the rotation there. This is that air, nice up, putting the board against the wind there, and you can see she was happy with that one. But there you go, Capuzino, nice little rodeo. And it looks, unless we have some validation scores that be going through, it looks like Capuzini has edged out Charlotte Carpentier, but we will confirm that ASAP. So the little body area that Charlotte does so well, and we'll be back after this break.
You rejoin us ahead of the second heat of the first round of the women's big air competition. Sonia Bunter is going up against 2-time world champion and yesterday's main event winner, Yalu Langere. What a task.
Yeah, Sonia Bunter putting on a solid performance yesterday, but Yalu, one of the most respected wave riders in the business. 2 times world champion, there you go, airing into oblivion just to start off the heat. And also, I think she was 8 or 9 times national freestyle champion, super competitive rider, very complete rider, and comes from a family of pro riders like her brother, Kevin Langere, no shy to big air, being the king of the air twice already.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some pretty good punts off the kickers here in this competition. Sonia was doing some good ones earlier. We saw Charlotte do good on the last heat. Wasn't enough to go through. Yalu already raising the bar in terms of height for this girls' competition. There we go. Ayrton Cozzolino could have been facing Mito, but he's not. He's facing young Kike. Where is he?
Kike getting ready, no doubt, trying to get everything in shape, going up against Ayrton Cozzolino. I mean, you can imagine, Jim, you know, a young kid like that, he's been looking up to Ayrton Cozzolino, and now to have the opportunity of being in a heat with him on a big air contest, you got to smile.
Yeah, and it's all about fun, this contest, so expect plenty of fireworks going off. The riders won't be holding back. Ayrton said he's got a little niggle in his knee, but I don't know, it's a bit okay. It won't affect him. He's part cyborg anyway, so he can probably just get the old screwdriver out.
He will be at this rate.
Yeah.
He will be at this rate. So Yalu Langere, yeah, doing a couple of nice punts, like you say, off the wave. Nice little board off there. Eyeing up the chop, you know, such a complete rider. Her freestyle ability has improved a lot. Up, grabbing it, switch stance, landing a little bit further too far on the nose. I think that's the skate, isn't it, Jim, the board she's using there from Nash?
Yeah, it is the Square board in Nash's surfboard range. It's a pretty all-round model, actually. Good in the waves. But that squarer outline, straighter rails allows Yalu just to track upwind really, really well there. You saw an example of that, getting a decent rail length into the water, helping her stay upwind in the competition box. But it's the volume that it has around the just from the center and just forward that allows you to land a little bit off balance, keep the board planing forward as you bring the kite back round in the power that I think she likes about that board.
Up she goes, trying the little rodeo, not quite getting the board. That looked like it was going to go in the back of her head there, but fortunately it's just the perspective of the camera. So yeah, Jalu was trying to get that height, get the board in between her legs, ride it out, but just not quite managing it there on that maneuver.
Fair to say she was quite happy with winning the strapless freestyle contest yesterday. As we said, a wave specialist, that's her first strapless freestyle win. No doubt that's going to motivate her for more training. The women's side of the competition is still a little bit fresher than the men's. The women's haven't been doing full heat ladders for the last 3 years like the men. But 8 women in the competition here. Nice back roll off the lip there from Yalu. Unfortunately didn't land. It's a move we see her go for quite regularity in Cape Town, somewhere that she spends her winter training. So obviously well used to strong wind conditions. Not quite coming through as strong as Cape Town here this afternoon, of course, for this big air competition, but still, as we've seen from the men, plenty of juice out there to go high. As we see Sonia not quite making the most of that, but
nice little maneuver. She was trying that. I mean, hasn't been strapless freestyling for a long time, Sonia, just starting to get into the discipline. And there you go. I mean, wouldn't you want an autograph from Mr. Mito Monteiro? He is, you can see he's done that a few times.
Well, have you? I mean, look at the care and detail that's gone into that.
Great to see. Me too. He's loved here in Brazil. Spends a lot of time here, part of the Rancho de Peixe team, and does a lot of the downwinders with surf and film. And once again, he's such a complete rider on and off the water, ambassador for our sport. And then you have Jalo Langare doing a nice little board off, switching the stance, doing the jibe. That's going to be a nice score for her there on the scoreboard.
Yeah, always very maneuverable, the Nash kites. Very fluid around the sky. Yalu working the bar backwards and forwards just to make sure that the board maintained momentum as she was heading downwind towards the pull of the kite there.
Looking for...
Sonia pops up, just misses the nose of the board. Manages to steer herself away from Yalu in the meantime. Yalu's first up and running. 5.33 wouldn't have won the last heat, so if you need a comparison, there it is. Capucine, we believe, went through the last round, Joe?
Yeah, it looked like it. Capucine went through the last round, just waiting for confirmation, but the scores seem to be setting. So there you go, Jalu going up to an 8.73, getting 2 solid moves on the board. And let's see, she's coming in here, I reckon maybe there you go. Nice little rodeo. Calm and collected, smooth cruising, just getting that little bit of a height aspect. Nice little drive there.
Nice little roll tack there.
Really nice.
See that, there'll be more at home on the race course, that, Joe, that
yeah.
little roll tack that we saw there.
Back roll, not quite pushing that board off with the back foot. Especially on those back rolls, you really want to be pushing on the back leg so you flip the board out, go along vertical, come down with speed. So she needs to edge off of the kicker a little bit more there. And you see Sonia Bunter on the left-hand side of your screen trying a little board off, not quite getting the board underneath her feet for landing.
Yeah, as we say, Yalu just chatting there. I think she's chatting to Idva van der Heide, the photographer. Those two have worked together many times. He should pop into the screen in a minute. His yellow helmet, there he is, just catching the action out there. These two have combined many times. Idva van der Heide, another Dutchman, really good friends with the Langare family, but he works with many of the sport's top riders, has landed many magazine covers. Yalu notching another one up with Kite World last issue from Idva, well at home in waves.
Oh,
hey!
There you go, that's it. Having fun, jumping around. I mean, this is what it's all about. Everybody's a little bit more relaxed. We've got the main event done. All the girls on the beach checking out. And you can see Capucine there looking at the scores, but you can see a little smile on her face against her compadre there, Charlotte Carpentier. And as we can see, keep it still, girls. Yeah, that's Capucine first, Charlotte second. Very close heat, but good scoring there from the judges. So, top works there for the young French lady.
Yeah. Well, often you get riders coming up and asking to see their heat sheet. When you're fresh off the water, you know exactly how you think you performed in your mind, whether you think you had a good heat or a bad heat, what you did well and what not, and that is the way to learn. I imagine that was Yalu's first trick in the first few seconds. Nicely judged air, and then as the heat progressed, started to add a few kite variations in there as well. Again, that one just nicely letting the wind come back underneath her, but tricky landings, aren't they?
Yeah, you can, like again, chop can be your best friend or worst enemy. Great to launch off of, but if you're coming down and you have a little chop, you really got to make sure that your center of gravity is over the top of the board, land, resist, flex with your legs to be able to ride it out. So yeah, top performance there from the girls.
Just a little one-footer there. Idva getting the shot there on the takeoff for that one.
There you go. Just losing that. This is the one that she had found. She was going big. She was going big. But yeah, great to see. Here you have Sonia, nice little grab, trying, keeping the board next to her feet. So great to see Sonia in a competition, and we hope to see her soon again. But we will be back after a commercial break.
Thanks to our sponsors there. Messages from our sponsors for this event. And up next is the final heat of round 1 of the women's big air competition. 2 new riders to us. Sabine Bancaliers, though, rocketed her way straight to the final against Yalu Langare in the single elimination. She's up against Marcela Witt, a Brazilian with her own TV show who has only been strapless freestyling for a month, but is a renowned wave rider from Rio. Has a national wave ranking title under her belt as well, having won competitions there. That's her on your screen right there. So they are playing for a place in the semi-finals. Still to come later this afternoon, Ayrton Cuzzolino and Kiko Roy have booked themselves tickets to the final of this big air competition. That's coming up for you just before the women's final on this live stream. That is Sabine there, riding without her hat today and without her wetsuit as well. So was protecting herself from the sun the last 2 days.
Just trying that double back roll. In the interview before, Jim, if you remember, Marcela said that she was going to try and get that double back roll for the first time here in her life and in a competition here. I mean, way to apply pressure. I mean, why not? If you're going to try it, might as well be at the World Championship in your home country.
Yeah, exactly. And at the minute, it seems like she's learning every session. She's right in that magic zone at the minute where you kind of feel like things are clicking together and your progression comes quite quickly. That's Sabine on your screen right there.
She does a lot of the tricks in transitions. There you go. Well, a little pop there, just making sure, getting a little bit of height. Obviously, once again, this is a big air competition, so 70% of the trick is scored by height and 30% of the trick is scored by technical difficulties. So those little pops, good to start getting the engine running, but you really want to be concentrating on getting height throughout the maneuvers.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the extra spin, the extra 180 that Sabine's been putting into her transitions. We even don't see many men doing it. The front transition with a little nose grab kind of goes around 540. Maybe we'll see that in a minute.
Little 1 foot there on the outside. So Sabine seems to be taking more of a conservative approach here to the heat, doing maybe a little bit more on the technical difficulty side. So Marcela Witt, obviously very talented rider, being strapless freestyling not so long, but she comes from a long heritage, 3rd generation kiter, and also cousin of well-known rider, Mr. Pedro Matos.
Told us yesterday that her grandfather, who got her into the sport, nice little 1-footer. Grandfather got her into the sport, Joe. He is, I believe he's 82 or 83 and still kiteboarding.
Awesome. Awesome.
Kiteboarding keeps you young.
It definitely does, mate. Keeps you alive. Keeps you alive.
There's a few little pulses of white water popping in there. As these girls head up. There you go. Having fun, are we?
She always has a smile.
This is a heat, girls. This is a heat. Come on.
Anger. It's great to see. I mean, the girls are having fun, like we say again. Big air competition. Nice little board off there for Sabine on the outside. Not sure if that would count. Looks like Marcella is going for that 1 foot. She had that in a couple of heats yesterday in a double elimination. Has a really nice style. Goes up, extends out, ballerina style, stretches her toes, gets it back on the board. So she's obviously looking for that maneuver to be a high score for her here in Prea.
Yeah, didn't hold back during the main event. Was responsible for one of the best clips that we had of a wipeout of this event. Definitely could go into a highlight reel. That one was going up, went into a kite loop, went into a body rotation. Some of you who have been there before know that it's an eyes closed moment, and yeah, it was catapulted through the sky, ended up in the water head first. Thanks, she was all right, but yeah, made the eyes water a bit, that one, Joe.
It did. There, you got a very, you know, committed is probably the best word. Don't know if she realised what she was getting herself into halfway forward, but yeah, that moment, all of us have been there when you're up there and it's like, all right, yeah, this is going to hurt. Close the eyes, put the hands over the head, and just hopefully it will be nice soft water.
Yeah, there she is, just switching her feet before making the jibe on the inside. A couple of little bits of shore break to negotiate before she finds a ramp to her liking. This is Sabina making her way back into the beach. She has a little comfortable lead, 9.23. I think these girls just, they seem to want to just high-five each other, getting closer and closer, working up to it. Sabine from Belgium has a little lead over Marcella. The format for this competition is it's just 2 tricks counting. So it's the highest 2 scoring tricks that you have in the heat that is going to count. So the judges are looking for these girls to go as big as possible, not necessarily as technical. There's 30% of the points available for technicality, but primarily we're looking for height. So these girls are going to have to get as much board speed as they can, find a ramp just upwind, pop off it. But they need to do something when they're up there, Joe, which is why we're seeing them not just go for straight airs.
Absolutely, yeah, it's 30% technical difficulty, so it's all good if you go super, super high, touch the move, but you've got to make sure that you leave a mark. You've got to make sure that there is a technical aspect there to do some of the maneuvers. And you can see, like, for example, Sabine here has 2 high scores of 4.73 and a 4.5, making a 9.23, and then Marcella with only a 3.83 and a 2.17. So obviously, Marcella needs to be more in the 4 to 5 range to be able to start competing about Sabine. So I think one nice maneuver will be good. And here we have Sabine. She's navigating out the back, trying the chop, and Marcella seems to be using more those inside kickers. I think she's used to probably these conditions. Comes from Rio, quite a shore breaky area of the country. Rio comes to the same place from Pedro. Very, very well recognized wave rider. So she's used to being in the pocket, making sure she's in the right position, and probably is looking for that here on the shore breaks of Prea.
Well, yeah, we are up in the far north of Brazil, generally heralded as the star. Oh, she nearly went for that double that she told us about in the interview, never landed it before. Can she do it in the next few minutes of this heat?
She's trying. Maybe it will be, you know, it's all good going for a new move in the heat, but you got to get scores on the board. You know, if maybe a little more conservative strategy would be get the single, get it in the bag, get the points up on the board, and then, you know, try and pull out the double. There's a nice, very good way to close the heat there from Sabine. It won't count, actually, because she kind of stood still and fell off the board, but still she's done enough there to be able to advance through. So congratulations, Sabine.
Yeah, this is Marcella who's just closing out the heat for us there. Not quite landing that one, as you said, from Rio, way down south. More of a wave specialist. A lot of the way down south in Brazil, we find many, many more wave riders. Really good wave riding conditions down there in Rio de Janeiro and in Florianopolis. Check that place out if you haven't already. But we're really far up in the north, and we are enjoying the women's big air competition. Just looking for the best 2 tricks to see these girls through. And then it is Ayrton Cutzlino against Kiko Roig in the men's big air final. Looking forward to that one, Joe. As we see Sabine, who looks like she's taken this heat win, closing out this little clip section for us here. And we will be back after the break. We'll see you in a moment. So we're still waiting for confirmation of that last heat of round 1 of the women's big air competition, but we have confirmation of the first semi-final that we're going to be seeing right now. Capucine Delanoy against Yalo Langeray. And the winner of the last heat looked like it was Sabine Callears, who has already enjoyed a final already in this event, meeting Yalo Langeray in the single elimination for the women. Can she do it again? It looks like the channel way is clear for her to meet Yalo again. She'd love to get the chance to ride up against her in the final. First, Yalo has to deal with Capucine Delanoy, 12-year-old sister of Camille Delanoy, who, if you've been following this event, will know that Camille has just really, really set the event on fire, showed us how to ride at his home spot of Prea. His final against Ayrton Cutzolina from yesterday, one of the best heats of kiteboarding competition we've ever seen. Super high heat scores, both riders going huge, great consistency, going to the moon, as Joe would say, and that heat has been produced in full for you to go and enjoy with slow-mo highlights and everything. Do yourself a favor and go and watch that after you finish watching this live stream. So this is the first semi-final big air competition that we have going on this Sunday afternoon here in Prea. The girls looking for the best 2 tricks to carry them through.
We have on the inside Mrs. Langeray already stacking up a few points, 11.67. She means business. You can see, so I'm not sure, we're waiting for the scores to come in. We can see Capucine not quite landing that rodeo that she has, and this is a local beach. Jalou, nice controlled air, just getting away, the board getting away from her feet just on the final stages of that landing, but getting good height and determination there. And you can see Capucine on the inside looking for that kicker. She knows this place off by heart. She can actually see the window to her bedroom while she's kiting, so no stranger to these waters. Nice little extension. Her brother will be proud. That looks like a Delanoy move right there.
Yeah, making good use of that F1 Bandit, getting in tune there, bringing it round the back of the window nicely just to make sure that she rides away as smoothly as possible. Expecting so much more from this girl, still only 12 years old, and competing in one of the most difficult to master disciplines in the sport right now, strapless freestyle. So yeah, her trajectory looks pretty steep up the sport. Remember the name, hard to forget with a brother like Camille Delanoy, but there we go, linking tricks together nicely. That could have been nice, wasn't it, if it were a little double wave coming in there, jumping from one wave into the next. That's the future of the sport. That's what we have in some of the mixed locations that we go to. This event, pure strapless freestyle. Camille sending the kite back, going for a tack. She's doing a few short tacks here, Joe, keeping the...
keeping busy.
Yeah.
Definitely keeping busy. Jalou there, nice little board off, but yeah, very impressive. Nice little rodeo there from the young French girl, local here in Prea. So as you can see, she has the support on the beach and the whole family here, and very closely leading Jalou Langeray with an 11.87. They're tied. 11.87 and 11.87 right now. That is unusually happening.
What are the chances? We haven't seen...
We haven't seen that yet.
We haven't seen that yet. And interesting as well, because judges award fractions of a score. They might award a 5.5 or, you know, 11.8, 6.87 we've seen from one score. So what are the chances of them both ending up on 11.87? That's how close these judges are looking, Joe. I mean,
it's insane. I mean, we have top 5 international judges here. These guys, year on, year out, looking at the tricks, making sure they can dissect every single little bit. And Jalou just going a little high there, not quite getting the landing, but yeah, definitely looking, maybe the wind's picking up a little bit. And there we have Capucine throwing that board a little bit too far out, pushing that back foot and not being able to recoup the front foot there. But yeah, how unlikely is it to be exactly the same score there, Jim?
Well, what qualifies you to be a judge, do you think, Joe?
I mean, there's definitely have to have a lot of experience on kiting itself. Then, you know, there are courses that special judging courses to be able to have the judge title, to be able to be doing competitions while having that license underneath you, and then of course years of experience dissecting move after move. So top qualities. That's why we, you know, you do see sometimes a lot of the older riders, sorry Alvaro, sorry Rui, being part of the judging panel, because they've been there, they know the difficulty, they know what it is to do that kind of trick, and it's you need that experience to be able to dissect everything, even down to the white in their eyes.
Yeah, it's busy, isn't it, up there in the judging tower? Sometimes we're competing for 8 hours a day. They're watching every single heat. And you are under pressure with the riders able to come up and check on that heat score. If you haven't got it right, you're not going to last very long in the job. But what a job it is, traveling around the world judging kite surfing.
Yeah, it's an awesome. I think all of us are lucky here, Jim. You know, to say that our office is a wonderful beach in Brazil, Prea, for a week. It's a lot of hours, it's a lot of work, but I mean, both of us are smile while we're saying this.
And Yalu with a smile as well.
There you go.
On this Sunday afternoon here in Prea, the last day of the event here in Prea, the Ceara Kite Pro, which has been round 6 of the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour, which culminates in Australia next month. Someone's going to get a great Christmas present there.
Trying that back row on the back, you can just see Jalou Langere has gone a little bit further forward there, and we can see results in there. We had Capucine against Jalou Langere. Looks like the pen was a little bit too thick for the box there. And then coming up next, we're going to have Carla Herrera against Sabine. So good results there. Let's see these ladies, very close heat. Capucine, 12 years of age, doing a top performance, but comes from a heritage of F1 great kiters. And then Jalou Langere, no need to introduce that young lady.
Yeah, pretty fitting that Camille and Capucine are progressing well as a family, because F1 operate very much as a family. Mito Montero has been with F1 and working with Rafael Salas pretty much since the beginning, so great loyalty. All their riders seem to have been there for a really long time as well, actually. So,
yeah, now a lot of good riders in that team, and now
Mallory, one of our head judge on the Air Games as well.
Mallory as well, and then also, you know, another Spanish rider doing well this week, Mr. Liam Whaley, recently coming away from injury and doing very well at the freestyle competition. So great to see. I mean, a company that supports us a lot and supports the Global Kitesurfing Association, and this event in particular, F1 and Moneta, are some of the sponsors. So once again, Mr. Rafael, thank you very much. And we will be straight back after a small commercial break.
Foi sumido. O sabor original de Sprite voltou.
And we are awaiting the first appearance of Carla Herrera, heroine of yesterday's heats. Although she didn't win, she battled through the double elimination, winning 5 heats to put herself against Jalou Langere. Beat Jalou Langere in the first final, forcing a super final, but just couldn't quite get the edge. Jalou Langere slotting in a trick just in the last 10 seconds there. She'll be hoping to do the same again today, because Jalou has just been on the water in the semi-final against Capucine Denaloy. We're waiting for the result of that. This is the second semi-final of the Big Air competition here at Prea. Sabine Bucalias against Carla Herrera.
Yeah, very talented young Spaniard here. She is one of the girls that is pushing the strapless freestyle as hard as possible, has some great moves, has one very new move that we haven't seen before from a girl, which is that back loop rodeo that I'm sure she's going to be trying that here. But let's not forget, this is a big air contest. 70% reward for height, 30% reward for technical difficulty. So you have to play those rules into your trick arsenal to be able to score the top scores for these heats.
Yeah, I would expect Carla to be going the biggest that we've seen yet. Not necessarily with that one. Although Yalou's little popped airs off the kicker, I think, have been so hard to get right, that maneuver, because you're kind of not really relying on your kite anymore. You've got to really steer the board with your feet off into wind and then allow the board to blow back underneath your body. Super fun to try, frustrating to realise how many goes it takes to get right.
Yeah, you've got to make sure, you know, it's all about toe pressure as well. You edge the board up into the wind, and then one of the key parts of that move is pushing down on your toes so that that board lifts up a bit, goes against the wind, and then on the way down you have to be pushing on your heels so the board comes again. So small little details that, you know, these guys and girls make it look so easy, but like you say, a very frustrating move to get right.
Yeah, but one that you can try as soon as you start riding a strapless freestyle board. You're not punting too high in the air. There's nothing too alarming, but it's the little. You got to have a lot of feel. You got to get in tune with the wind. But I tell you what, when you land one, you kind of hope someone sees it.
8 points on the board already from Mrs. Herrera. Should keep him busy. Game face on right there.
Yeah, we saw mechanical performances from Carla yesterday, just coming in on the inside with great regularity, popping that back roll, using the front toe just to help steer the board around, helped her get through 5 heats to meet Yalu Langray. There she goes, popping off the kicker. Just see there, that's the difficulty, isn't it? There, it's not going as big as the men, but it's from the moment you take off, strapless freestyle is difficult, isn't she? Yalu Langray just clarifying a few things there. We would expect her to be in the final. It would be surprised if she wasn't in the final. Always a favourite. Yalu, obviously sister of Kevin. Anti-Yalu now.
Yes. So here we have Sabine, also a very close heat here, 7.23 against A. Sabine maybe a little bit more technical than Carla, pulling off some of the more board rotating spin moves, but again, there you go, trying to grab the board there on that little board off. So very close here. So we see Carla turning around. Should be looking for that little chop to edge off the back, land in the flat section. Let's see what she's got for us. I'm reckoning probably she has that really nice back roll, no grab. Let's see, probably this is what she's going to be trying to do to get an extra score there. Let's see how the young Spaniard comes. Yeah, this is going to be it. Back roll, no grab. You can tell we know these riders, Jim.
Yeah, this is our 4th day here now, so I've been appreciating the skills of these riders. This is the women's competition of the big air competition. Within the next half an hour, we will have the final of Ayrton Cozzolino against Kiko Roig. That's going to be one to stick around for. The wind is picking up at the moment, as it does in clockwork. It's 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and just right before 4 o'clock usually the wind peaks. So stick around. I'll go and grab yourself a drink, get back, because the men's final is going to be incredible. Already been great caliber of riding so far on this Sunday afternoon. On your screen right now, Carla Herrera in the 2nd semi-final of the women's event. So the women's competition reaching a climax as well. We're going to see who's up in the final at the minute. Carla Herrera would love to be there. She was tour leader coming into this event, into the tour. Before we came in, she's just dropped into 2nd place overall, making it a winner-takes-all event against Yalu Langray at the next round in Australia. So lots of pressure there.
Doing calculations there. I saw Jalou asking head judge Danny at the skippers meeting what the results had to be. So Jalou, a very calculating lady, knowing her stuff, making sure she knows what position she can get in Australia. And if I'm not mistaken, it was to be confirmed, but if Jalou places 1st or 2nd position in Australia in front of Carla, she will be claimed the world champion. So very down to the wire in Oz for the crown of the world champion of 2018 of the Kite-Surf World Tour.
Yeah, I would imagine neither of them wants to. They want to play it in their own hands. They want to win. If you win, you win.
Exactly.
So
that's what I said.
No point in trying to calculate it really. Ayrton isn't one to calculate it. He funnily enough, never seems to know how many event wins he's going to need or where everybody finishes. And none of the guys do. Machi Lopez either. They just turn up. Well, we're just going to ride and we're going to do as well as we can anyway. So what comes will come. It's great fun anyway. But yeah, obviously what comes is a world championship with it. Kudos, sponsorship, and fame. And here she comes, just edging up over the chop there. This is Sabine.
That's an outfit. Those are some colours right there. I'm seeing Marcela Witt there, always with a smile, and the girls on screen. Carla Herrera going for that back row. It definitely looks like the multicolour lycras is the way to go recently.
Well, I've noticed that Marcela is one of the most requested selfie stars that we've seen on this beach. She has her own TV show. She's based down in Rio, and these Prea residents taking their opportunity to get get a photo with rising kitesurfing star but established TV star. So grab yourself a selfie.
I really like how the girls smile at each other on the way out. Like, even though, you know, maybe tangling kites, it's good to see the good vibes, just having fun here. Carla looking for a chop on the way out, probably going to try that back loop rodeo. Let's see, she's searching, bumping it around. Back loop rodeo, comes down, a little bit in the bundle, so does Sabine, not quite getting the landing. Needs to be on a bigger kite there to be able to get those heights. Once again, big air competition, 70% reward for height, 30% reward for technical difficulty.
Tell you what, Joe, from our position here, the wind started blowing into the studio. I reckon it's just picked up. Couldn't be more perfect for the finals. Ayrton Cuzzolino just strutting around outside our little booth here, getting ready. He'll be up in another final. He's well used to finals, loves nothing more than being in the final. All the focus on him. It's generally when he rides the best. So, yeah, that show is coming up, Cuzzolino Airways. Right now, the girls are in tandem, trying to
flip the board around. Yeah, Ayrton, I mean, showman, loves to please the crowd, and, you know, Big Air is his middle name, so he's happy to be there. Then we have Tiana.
Shouts to Raza on the left there, our social media queen, bringing you all the updates on social media. There you go.
There you go. So that's the end of that heat. We see Mrs. Carla Herrera from Spain advancing yet again. She's been a force to be reckoned with during this whole event, coming all the way through the double elimination. And this is why. Nice little air, nice and collected, really easy, keeping the core tight. Going a little bit bigger on that one. Once again, big air, we want height, we want dedication. This is that really nice back roll, no grab that she has. She really likes to do that in front of the water. And Sabine from Belgium has been riding really well. And the surprise here in Prea, putting herself all the way into the final and ending up third on the podium. So congratulations to her there. Nice back roll there off of one of the chops.
Yeah, in the main event Joe is referring to there. This is the big air competition. A festival of fun here on Sunday afternoon, exhibited there by the two girls jumping together. That's a wrap for the second semi-final. We'll find out who is in the final after this break.
Foi sumido. O sabor original de Sprite voltou.
Welcome back to Prea. We can see there our head photographer, Mr. Itver. Put your shirt back on, please. He's getting ready to shoot this big air part of the competition. And why not? We are going to be riding here with Reece Myerscott. Absolutely amazing competition he's been doing throughout this whole event, and he is against the maestro Mito Monteiro.
This is the third place final. Mito was beaten by Kiko Roige, 16-year-old. Mito is 35, wouldn't have liked that, but he is a happy guy anyway, happy generally just to be alive and kiteboarding. So, and he looks pretty happy there, bringing a smile to our face on the inside of this commentary box in this mini final. Reece lost out to Ayrton. He's the other finalist. Reece, like you said, he's been having his season best competition here, has made such improvements in the last 2 months. Reece from Canada, already nudged into second place by Mito Monteiro. As we said, the wind just ramping up a few knots here. It should make for a great mini final and final. This is Reece trying to get as many big air points as he can. The judges are judging 70% on height, 30% on technical ability. Riders can do as many trick attempts as they want, but the judges are just going to take their top 2 tricks.
Yeah, really. There you go. Reece going huge, looping. Not quite getting that board underneath, but that's what we want to see. You want to see the height. We saw a really nice back row tic-tac from Mito on the inside. So both of these guys know what they have to pull out of the bag to be able to come forward on this heat and get third position. There you go, Mito, great rodeo. Mito actually had an amazing heat in the big air in Fuerteventura, going past, kicking out Ayrton to the final because he had on the outside a 10 to 12 second jump. So he is no stranger to touching the sky.
Yeah, that's how windy that place is there. Ayrton set a world record at 15 seconds, and there was this 20-minute period where these gusts were coming through, and thankfully it was Ayrton and Mito that were out on the water, because just because these gusts are coming through doesn't mean that you can take advantage of them. But their kite ability, they hooked into these gusts and just kind of fished their way around the sky, and then they just kept going up and down and up and down. It was brilliant to watch, and then somehow they managed to hold it together to get the board underneath them to land. There is videos of those on social media and on the GKA YouTube channel, so go and check those out.
I mean, yeah, so much kite control, especially, I mean, Mito's been kiting from the beginning. I think he probably could kite to sleep. It's amazing the kite control he has. You see that it's a sixth sense. He knows exactly where it is, where he needs to position it. Here we go, Reece. Nice back roll, tic-tac.
He's got a chance.
Very nice.
Yeah, got a chance of going through here, Reece. His average 15 points plus in his heat, so he is going to have to do better than he's done so far, but it's only 1 point more, 16 points, but this could be going up with Mito there. Look at the way he rides that out.
Easy, just over, jump over, come down with speed. I mean, he knows this place off by heart, being part of the Rancho de Peixe family, and I can guarantee you he has Nicole and Michael back in Cape Verde watching their hero on TV going through this heat. And here we have Reece Meyer-Scott. Nice lift there. Perfect landing. There you go. That's the one he was looking for. I think he'd probably improve his score from the last one. We got a 8.73 from Mito and an 8.1 the last two tricks. So there we have young Quiquet, the Spanish Armada, looking serious, waiting for the youngster to go in against Ayrton Cosilina.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Kike on the right there, just warming up the old ankles. Ankles vital in the strapless freestyle game. And obviously has the strongest ankles in the business from what we've seen. This is Mito Montero coming in. I tell you what I've enjoyed seeing about Reece, which we'll just mention in a minute after we see Mito's trajectory, just not getting it quite right. They went wrong from the beginning there, but Mito usually manages to pull it back. That's that bit there. He seems to go up and then just get this nice second lift off his Ocean Rodeo kite. Just as he's doing the tic-tac, must feel pretty nice in his harness there. Always nice when you get a boost and you feel a bit of a second lift.
Yeah, really good how he just crosses the kites there, and like you say, gets that second lift, and no wonder he's only 1.2 points away from Mito Montero. So Reece putting on a serious performance here against Mito. So very close heat. Both riders have really good height. There you go, Mito. Double front loop rodeo switch. That's one of the best moves we've seen of this big air competition. That's going to be a high score. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's going to be in the 9.6 area.
What is nice about that trick is he jumps, goes into a spin, uses his right hand to put his board under his legs, then switches hands on the bar, uses his left hand to then bring the board back round again, and then lands on the opposite tack, left foot forward, having taken off right foot. So if that is not the sign of a well-rounded rider, and I don't know what is, but just caught out again on the chop. We've seen him ride out some heavier chop like that on the inside, so that would have scored him really high points 2 tricks ago on the inside there. Reece heading into the inside this time. Where's that second lift? There it is.
There it is. Oh, he was trying the flip as well. He knows he has to pull out the new tricks out of the bag to be going against Mito, especially after that double front rodeo. And let's see, scores in 9.67 for that double front rodeo for Mito Montero. So one of the highest scores of the event and one of the highest scores of this big air event as well. So congratulations, Mito. That was an amazing maneuver.
Tested every limb, didn't he, on that maneuver?
Absolutely.
And what was nice, you could see how big it was, even though it was out the back. It still looked big.
So that's 18.4 points out of 20. That's an almost perfect heat. And Reece, 15.6. Oh, just let go. Make sure the board. I love it how even when they miss it, he just throws the board, makes sure it's close to him on a landing. Here we have Carla Herrera getting ready for her heat. She's going to be going up against in the final, so really good riding here from the young Spaniard, and good to see her loving these Brazilian waters.
Yeah, the shame of it for Mito is that he is just peaking the wrong side of the semi-final. 18.4, the highest heat score that we've seen in this Big Air Championship. This will be the last heat. It's the mini-final. He didn't make the final. He would have beaten Ayrton with an 18.4.
He would have beaten Ayrton with an 18.4, so really, it looks like the wind's picked up a little bit more. Wow! I love that move from him. That's that back roll kite loop he does. He just gets that board on top of him, really pulls it in positions. Looks like we got a rogue in the competition area there.
Looks like Reece has lost his kite.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, you're right there. Guess we have to see in the replay what happened to him there, but he definitely has lost his kite and his swim. It seems like he's
gone to rescue that board. He's getting through them, so he won't want to let it go. Here we go.
Back loop, tic-tac. Nice extension, calm and collected, smooth moving, spins the bar on the outway.
Looking forward to seeing that 9+ point maneuver that he did out the back. Just paragliding his way back down to the water. Of course, this is Mito Monteiro. Always one for the crowd. Never showing off that. It's always appreciation. Grateful for every cheer that he gets. Here he goes. Just feathering his way around that back roll, injecting the kite loop, riding out that bit of chop on the inside. And as he rode it out, just managed to bring his foot back into position. Amazing the feel that these guys have. There's Reece with that now famous second lift from that Ocean Radio kite. Bring it back round for landing. Come on, where's this big point? This is the last trick of the heat. As Reece rides out the gust, and we'll see you in a minute for the finals. What a time to join us. If you have just tuned into this live stream here in Prea in Brazil, we're approaching the climax of both the men's and the women's big air competition. This is the mini final of the women's competition. 12-year-old Capucine Delanois against Sabine Bancaliers, who has already had a fantastic competition in her first event, reached a final against Yellow Langeray. That's her already getting her trick list. Off to a good start by the looks, heading out. This is the early stages of the heat. Looks like Capucine also landing from some in there. They're playing for third position in the big air, playing for a chance to get on the podium, and a bit of prize money as well up for grabs. Not counting towards the World Championship, but all rankings, all wins are always registered deep in the heart, in the minds. And when it comes up to the next event, these will be the last riders to stand on the podium before they head to Australia, so that does count in the mind, doesn't it?
Definitely, and you have here, Capucine Delanois, Sabine, both been riding really well, so well deserved for a third position. Sabine actually already has a podium there, so it will be she's used to it. She rode really well in the single and double elimination, and Capucine is going to have her work cut out here to get past the lady from Belgium, but so much talent, 12 years of age. You know, little sis of Camille Delanois, so has a very good mentor, good teacher, and she's determined. Talking to her parents before, like in the single elimination going up against Yellow, I think she went up in the first heat. She was like, okay, I know this is going to be very hard, but then in the double elimination, she was stressed, she was hungry, she wanted it, she saw possibilities, and yeah, really good to see that fire and determination in such a young rider.
Yeah, 5th and final day of the event here in Prea, the Ceara Kite Pro, which is round 6 of the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour. We wrapped up the main event yesterday for the men and the women. What a thrilling day it was. This is a standalone event. Capa's scene is riding out those airs. Nice, isn't she? Just getting super stable on the board and then bringing the kite round nicely. You can see the guys with much, much more experience able to loop the kite earlier on. Much more difficult as well, though, isn't it? Coming into landing with so much more power.
No, she's definitely got that move down. You can see just pops up, gets the board underneath the thigh, controls the kite just as she's coming down, loops it to get that little extra momentum, but also that little extra lift so that when she's placing the board underneath her feet, she can ride out of it. She has that down really well. But then let's not forget, Jim, she is riding in her background, and Sabine on the outside getting those little extra feet there. Really nice rodeo attempt. She does like doing those jumps and transitions, Jim.
Yeah, this is a big air event, so we haven't seen as many of the spins as she was doing really nicely on the inside through the main event, where many more tricks were counting. Riders have a bit more opportunity to show their full range of tricks, but this is purely about big air, 70% big air, 30% technicality, so not as much requirement on technicality. You have to find the balance. 30% isn't much, but it can make the difference. That's why we're not seeing riders just punt airs.
Yeah, you definitely, it's about going high and leaving a mark. You've got to do something. So they're trying that rodeo, and Capelcine on the outside. I think she's already got that rodeo. She's got that board off, and looks like she had a tripwire there. Just can make it through that piece of chop. But I'm guaranteeing she's probably gonna. I know she has that back roll in her arsenal that she's gonna be trying to do. So yeah, really both riders riding really well, navigating through the chop in these warm Brazilian waters.
Yeah, been kitesurfing since 2002, Sabine. She's actually 51 years of age. This is her first kiteboarding competition. Hopefully we'll see her again because she has been impressive. More of a specialist in waves, so having had a good debut, making herself to the final against Yalu Langeret could motivate her to join the tour a little bit more next year. She is from Belgium. We do many events in Europe, so come on, Sabine, we want to see you again. Let's see what you've got in waves. Been pretty impressive in strapless freestyle. This is a combination tour, so we have pure wave events, mix events that mix wave and strapless freestyle, which is really where we think the progression is going to come over the next few years. Riders doing critical tricks in critical sections of the wave, and then we have pure strapless freestyle events like this one coming to popular kiteboarding locations like Prea in Brazil, Sotavento in the Canary Islands, taking the sport to the people, if you like, Joe, and bringing superstars like Ayrton, who we still have to come up this afternoon in the men's final, coming up in about 15 minutes time, I reckon. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be pretty special. He's up against Kiko, up and comer from Tarifa, 16 years of age, full of spirit and tenacity as 16-year-olds, and he's got a fan base. He's got a pit crew, hasn't he, on the beach?
Pit crew on the beach and behind the speaker,
yeah.
Mate. My little Kiko, yeah, he's been ripping. Really good to see him in the final. It's going to be a first podium and first final for him. I mean, going up against Ayrton in a final, a guy you look up to, a guy who for Kiko is a hero, and to be able to go against him, I mean, he's got to be amped, he's got to be pumped, and I'm hoping that he puts on a performance against Ayrton, and yeah, definitely no stranger to height Kiko. And there you go, Sabine nailing that back roll. She's really got that vertical rotation down, really nice, that HB board going tip over tip, coming down, riding her out from that really well. That's going to be a good score for her there.
Yeah, see the interesting channels on that board, on that HB surf kite, just right on the edge up to the nose, obviously giving a grip on every inch of that rail, but just used the wave really, really nicely there. And just like we were talking about, the mix elements of this tour, there it is again. You can see, can't you, if we go to those destinations, so many of them around the world where you kind of have waist to shoulder high waves coming in, just being able to use those ramps and lips, combining wave turns and slashes and carves with freestyle tricks. It's going to be great to see. I'd like to see Sabina come and join us again.
Definitely. I mean, you're going to be having 500 kilometers of this next week, Jim. You're doing that downwinder with Surf Sim Finn. Very, very jealous, mate.
Yeah, heading up to Baragrangi tomorrow morning, and beyond there, I am told that the waves just get better and better. Obviously, here is free ride playground here in Prea, good for everybody. But I am, not too not to labour the point too much, but pretty excited, I have to say. Real privilege to be able to travel this stretch of coastline that's now so famous in kiteboarding. Not many people make it up the north. This is Prea, right next to Jerry, one of the most famous destinations. As you are watching the highlights of the mini-final, Cappuccini Delanoy against Sabina Bucaliers, who has booked herself into the final against either Carla Herrera or Yalu Langare. Do we have the confirmation of that yet, Joe?
We're waiting for that to come in. I'm just seeing, but yeah, we will have to see that in a minute. There's a beautiful back roll from Sabine, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
So, tens times here at this last day of the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour. We have exhibition competition going on for you here now, and you've joined us just at the right time. If you have just tuned in, we are at the pointy end of the competition for both the men and the women. And there you are, that's the final. Yalu Langare against Carla Herrera. And I tell you what, these girls went at it yesterday as well. Yalu already in the final of the double elimination of the main event that we had yesterday because she won the single elimination. Carla beat her once in the final, which meant that they had to have a rerun. Yalu Langare won it in the final seconds. Heartbreak for Carla, as it meant that Carla was nudged into second overall in the World Championship. So these two ladies building up a rivalry already this season. This big air competition doesn't count points-wise, but as it is a winner-takes-all event, when they go to Australia, whoever wins that event is going to win the World Championship. So you try telling me, Joe, that these girls don't want to be the last ones to have stood on a podium here in Prea on the up and up as they head to Brazil. This is Carla Herrera on the inside. Yalu Langare not quite making a landing, Joe.
I mean, that face says it all. It's the dreaded glare, mate. I mean, you can see both of them won it. Carla going high, nice little pop. Not quite getting the landing. The kite needs to be forward there or either looping behind them. But yeah, both of them are obviously going to be the one to be the last person to stand on the podium. I mean, Yalu yesterday holding off Carla. Carla was coming on a high. She went all the way through the double elimination, beat Yalu in the first final, but in the super final, in the closing moments, I think it was like the last 5 seconds, Jims, both of you and I were looking here at the scores, you know, nail-biting moments on the edge of our seats, and then suddenly Yalu just came in and just, I think it was that air reverse, a really nice style where she bends down, keeps that body low to take the win and take the lead in the overall championship. So yeah, I mean, hats off to the Netherlands.
Yeah, if you did miss that, just like with the men, we have reproduced the women's final in full. It was really, really exciting right up to the final moments. Just because you know the result of both the men and the women's competition now, that's not going to spoil your enjoyment of that. Honestly, for me, after 18 years in the sport, that was one of the best, two of the best heats of kiteboarding, particularly on the men's side, no doubt, of kiteboarding competition that I have ever seen. Camille Delanoy v Ayrton Cozzolino went down in the history books for me, for sure. Big, bold, brash, ballistic.
And radical.
And radical, for sure.
All the adjectives right there, Jim.
For
No,
sure.
both of them riding really well and really impressive. I mean, just like these girls that we have here front and center, really want it. They're rivals in themselves. They know what it is to kite against each other. Carla pretty much splashing Yalu there. I really like the tension these girls have. It's kind of like what we were saying about that positive pressure yesterday for Camille, and you can see the positive tension these girls have. You know, it's savvy, it's good. I like the emotion.
Yeah, what I like about Carla is she doesn't hide it. You know, she does not hide it. So she wants it. This is a great opportunity for her to win a world championship. what a chance it is in any sport. But when a discipline like this, strapless freestyle, is so young, you really have a chance to make an impression on a sport in the early days of it. Carla Herrera has spotted that opportunity, decided to focus a little bit more on strapless freestyle than wave. Yalu Langare, obviously a really, really credible wave rider, would finish on the podium in many a wave, a men's event as well, I guess. But
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, she absolutely rips. So, but finds herself in a strapless freestyle format. She wants to claim the World Championship that does see her recognised as the most all-round surfboard rider. This is kiteboarding. You can use a kite in many ways. And this particular World Championship, you've got to come through strapless freestyle as well. So Yalu on the inside, little rodeo. She's fine that she's improving every heat that she goes out with that, isn't she?
Definitely. I mean, you can see Yalu, like you say, one of the most critical surfer girls on a kite in the world, just scoring a cover not so long ago, and was in the Indo with Matthew, James, Roderick, and a few of the guys. And you see the footage. She's critical. She doesn't hold back, and now you can see it's great to see that her freestyle skills are being pushed up as well. I mean, in the end, she's a competitive rider. She does not want to be no slouch, and as she has that pit bull, that competitive gene in her, just like her brother, she's going to, see the task at hand and go at it 120%.
Yeah, she's been chasing down that first barrel, Joe. A really credible barrel that we see. That's a good effort. We haven't seen her go for that back roll rodeo quite as high yet. Carla not coming off, but she is maintaining a lead. This will be an important win for her because having lost to Yalu yesterday and at the same time losing first place in the championship, tough pill to swallow, especially against someone like Yalu, who for this strapless freestyle very much a secondary discipline, so it's going to hurt.
Yeah, she's definitely, I mean, like you're saying, we are looking for the most complete rider on a strapless surfboard. Both of these girls, very good. Carla improving in the waves. Obviously, living in Tarifa like myself, unfortunately, waves isn't one of the best aspects. But, yeah, you can have so much fun on a strapless surfboard. This is why it's becoming so popular over, because there you go, Carla on the outside. Watch out for those fins. Strapless freestyle is very popular because cross onshore mush is what most of us have. Not all of us can be at One Eye or at Lakey Peak every single day. So it's all about having fun, and the more disciplines and more aspects of the sports you touch, the better rider you're going to become.
Yeah, and of course, the more boards you have in the quiver, the more fun you're going to have, is my opinion. Never enough toys.
No, it's just too much of a small garage, mate. Always room for improvement. Always room for
just one more board. So here we go. Carla Herrera coming in on the inside. This is just going to be attack shaping up for the kickers again on the outside. We've seen her go twice for this back roll rodeo, getting pretty close. I'm not sure we've seen her land it in competition before.
Big air on the back there for Mrs. Langare.
Certainly not landed it as big as she's popped off these waves, but this looks like Tarifa, doesn't it? It looks like Poniente coming in from the right there, Joe.
It does. Oh, don't make me homesick, Jim. Don't make me homesick. I could see the tappers at Los Mayes and the tuna right now. Oh.
Can't complain about the food here, Joe. Fresh as you like. I reckon that fish has only got to travel 20 yards to make it to the restaurant here at Rancho de Pêche.
That curry was good, mate. Ooh. It was good.
Yeah. Wherever you are on a Sunday. If I was back home in England right about now, it'd probably be roast dinner time.
Roast dinner. So that's the buzzer on the heat there. Looks like Mrs. Herrera has pulled off the win, so she's got to be happy about that. So she is going to be on the top side of the podium here in Brazil, so great riding from both of them. And Carla Herrera, congratulations on the win. And stay tuned, girls and guys. We're going to be coming up with the men's final with Kiko Royce from Spain, Quique, the young wonder kid from Tarifa, and Ayrton Airline Cosolino. You go. This is why Yalu Langare is one of the most complete riders out there. Carla going nice and high, actually getting the advantage over in this big air competition on Yalu. So trading podiums left, right and center. So really good riding from both of these ladies, and well-deserved first position for Carla Herrera.
Yeah, but you do want to come back to us after the break because it's Ayrton Cosolino on the water next against Kiko Royce in the men's big air final. It's going to be a spectacle, and we will have confirmation of the women's result as well as we come back after the commercial break, just as Yalu spots this landing We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back to Prea in Brazil, round 6 of the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour. I am Jim Gaunt. I'm joined by Josie Astula, tour manager for the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour, and there is the superstar of the tour, Ayrton Cozzolino. He leads the championship and in fact has it wrapped up ahead before we head to round 7 of the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour, but he just wants to be on the top of the podium all the time, and he finds himself up against Kiko Roig in the big air competition. This is a standalone competition, Joe, taking place on the last day of the event. It's for pure thrills. Kiko is looking for his first win. Ayrton is looking to just keep the wins coming. This means a lot to both riders, doesn't it, Joe?
Oh, absolutely. It's so, I'm going to try and be as little ambiguous here as possible. It's so cool to see young Kiko. Kiko coming from Tarifa, so proud of him to be here in the final. 17 years of age and make it in the final. Once again, up against his idol, Ayrton Cozzolino. It's great to see this youngster perform. There you go, front row rodeo. So I know all the guys in Spain and his mum and dad are going to be watching, and yeah, it's great to see. But he has his work cut out against him. I mean, big airline, Cozzolino, he's going to have to go big or go home. But look at those scores, 16.43 and 14.54 already. So no stranger to the upper half of the spectrum on the scoring there.
Yeah, Joe, I was going to say that you have done a good job of trying to be impartial for your young boy Kiko, but he's up against, as you say, Cozzolino Airlines.
Look at that.
Just a pleasure. I'm glad we got 7 minutes more of this heat. It's going to be fun.
There you go. There you go. I mean, it's great. I love it. I mean, Ayrton spends so much time in Tarifa as well, and to watch both of these on the water, they literally do a heat every time they see each other. So, I mean, this is what strapless freestyle is about. And look at it, 17.8, 15.8. So both of them going big or going home. You can see Ayrton just flying through the air, making it nice and easy coming down, and Kiko watching him over his shoulder, eye for eye, minute for minute.
Absolute masterclass watching Ayrton, and the great thing about the amount of air time that he gets is you get a lot of time to inspect what he's doing at the bar. Did you see how quickly he pulled in harshly with his arm there to loop the kite round? Takes commitment to do that, but if you are brave with it, it does make your landing much more soft, gives you much more forward momentum. It's what the judges are looking for. Kike just missing that. Kike for sure the underdog. So if you're unsure who to support, Kike is your man if you like the underdog win. Ayrton is obviously the favourite coming into this, fresh off the back of one of the best heats of kiteboarding that we have ever seen. It's produced on our YouTube channel, Global Kite Sports Association YouTube channel. He went up against Camille Delanoy, man of the moment here in Prea, riding at home, rode, well, he's just ridden every heat of his life. He didn't put a foot wrong. The only thing he did wrong was come up against an alien. But he did manage to beat him in the single elimination final. Let's remember that. We're always going to remember that. It's only the third time Ayrton has ever been beaten in a pure strapless freestyle competition.
God damn it, Kiko, come on. I mean, you can see both of them. Ayrton, one of the most complete kiteboarders out there. And when it comes to big air, the control this guy has amazing. I mean, look, one flip. That is one of the hardest moves in strapless kiteboarding now. That is a back roll tic-tac with a flip.
it was the move that, if you watch it back, you could see that Joe and I were so confident that yesterday that Camille had won. The screen and the score in the top left said Camille was ahead. The judges, that was the trick, that the judges had to go back because they realised in their judging app it hadn't scored it correctly. It missed that vital flip, gave him the advantage. Oh, Kike, Joe, jumper, Joe, sit down, sit down. It is close. Come on, Kike. He's got it all to do. Ayrton, bang.
Fishing pole out. No wonder his ankles hurt. I mean, it's insane the amount of force he comes down, and like we say again, in between him and James Greer, I would not want to be those. But oh, look at the speed! Look at the speed going out, up and away. Just missing the grab there on the board. And young Kike, dale.
But as we said, yeah, Camille Delanoy one flip away from the win. If that judges hadn't recounted that flip, so the tic-tac at the top and then flipping the board in the other direction as well on your way down, immense coordination, immense skill, immense aerial awareness, and just that was the fraction. You know, not a big air, not anything else. That's the fine margins that these judges are looking at, and Ayrton puts them under pressure every single time, doesn't he? Kike not doing too badly though, 15.8. He's not far away. We know that Ayrton can explode, but 18.73 is a really, really high heat score. Kike's going to need to pull out a big double. What do you think, Joe?
I reckon Kike big double, and I'm going to put beers on a boogie loop from Mr. Cosolino. Look at that!
One of the free Corona beers.
One of the exactly. That's why we're betting it, mate. There's no men there. But yeah, I mean, amazing. Ayrton Cosolino just goes up. There's Kike. Nice save on that front roll. That board was way away, extending the arm, making sure he gets the grab. I mean, great performance here from the youngster. Such a young age. He is going to stand on a podium. I mean, 17 years old, standing on a podium of a world championship. He's got to be happy.
Back to school on Monday for Kike, is it, Joe, with a bit of jet lag maybe, back in Tarifa?
Little bit of jet lag. Boom! Mr. Cosolino making the tide rise here in Prea. One. Tic-tac. Does he get it? Almost. Just not quite getting that second rotation there. But, I mean, hats off to him. 16.4, 18.93. I want to see the boogie loop from Mr. Cosolino. I want a boogie loop.
We've got a few more minutes for it. He usually does it on the tack. Usually does it on the tack on the way back in. So not expecting him to do it here. Here we go. Usually does it as he approaches the beach, just to show it off in as much detail to the judges as he can. What we're looking for is a boost. Oh, I want to come back to it. So what we're looking for is he's going to send the kite back. He's going to send the kite into a backwards loop. His body is going to rotate forwards with the board between his legs. It's not this one though. We're not going to get it.
We're not going to get it, but still top performance from both of these guys. Ayrton going huge, and Kiko Roy from Spain, 16.4 against current world champion and the winner of this event. And there you go. These guys kite a lot together, and Ayrton obviously has to be proud of his young compadre there. They kite together a lot. They're always in Tarifa together, so nice to see the Duotone family there once again.
Yeah, what is important for Ayrton is that these guys keep coming up and pushing him. You know, he is without doubt the superstar of strapless freestyle riding. He's obviously a very accomplished wave rider. He doesn't feel like he gets enough credit for his wave riding, to be honest with you. Obviously more famed for his radical strapless freestyle, which includes unhooked maneuvers. But he needs guys to keep coming up, to keep this tour progressing. And here it comes. We're out of the heat.
I can see his face. Look at his face. Look at his face.
Here we go.
Stay with him, camera. Stay with him, camera. There it is. Oh! Okay, so if we needed fresh fish in the morning, I think he's exploded onto our plate. That is the boogie loop. That is one of the most impressive moves out there. And here you go. This is how Ayrton has come and claimed himself first in the big air competition. Back roll, flip there, looks back. Kiko Roy going big as well, just not getting that extra, just giving a little ole Spanish bullman right there. And yeah, Cosolino Airways showing why he can go so high.
Yeah, he just finds the extra juice every single time. Of course, it's down to technique. It's down to intricate knowledge of his gear. But yeah, just always higher, always harder. Kike's coming up, though. Impressed even in the few rounds in this competition. There he goes. That's the way. That's it. that's the rescue loop for you right there. Just coming underneath the kite and just timing that rescue loop. Bring you back in. Here you go, joggle.
Look at the height and the projection he gets in there.
Yeah, comfortable landing either way. Left foot forward, right foot forward. Has to make small judgments as he comes in. He's usually coming in at speed. There's the flip that won in the competition yesterday. Happy to get that one in there again just to show us all. Yep, guys, you didn't count it properly yesterday. Here it is again. Fish poling.
Yeah, solid performance from Mr. Cosolino there, like always. And yeah, might be limping on the beach, but not limping in the water.
He's got a few weeks to recover from Australia. We're there, I believe, from the 12th of December. And although he has the World Championship wrapped up, he's going to want to finish the World Championship at the top of the podium. Not something that he managed to do last year, I believe. Won the World Championship, wants nothing more than to finish at the top. So it is still to play for in Australia. And there he is. So heats are over for today. And just, it's always hard to get back to the beach. Always wants just one more. He's just at the top corner of the heat box. We are going to be right back, and we're going to be right back with the big air result and a little bit of a prize given as well. And we'll be hearing from the top riders as well, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Foi sumido. O sabor original de Sprite voltou.
Welcome back. Once again, unfortunately, we have seen the final action of what has been an incredible 5-day event here in Prea. It is round 6 of the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour. Superstar himself, Ayrton stole the show in many ways, but he wasn't the only man too. Kiko, he's just been up again in a big air final, a standalone competition, a real battle of showmanship. Kiko, just 17 years old from Spain, up against the superstar Ayrton, the winner of the Ceara Kite Pro, the main event yesterday, counting towards the World Championship. Today, just a standalone big air competition, all about show. Riders were judged on 2 tricks, 70% height, 30% technicality. Ayrton has just scored almost 19 points, which means that he is close to big air perfection. You can obviously watch all the live stream. We've been running live streams throughout the event. You can catch up with them all on YouTube. We've also produced a standalone production of the men's and women's final from yesterday, separate video files. We'll be putting the semi-finals and mini-finals up from yesterday. Watershed day for me, strapless freestyle, where all the riders came together. Here we go. Are we going to get the boogie loop? No, unhooked. What's going on? High handle pass.
Oh, that's a first. That's a first.
Is it? I tell you what, everything's a first with Ayrton, but that move more at home at the King of the Air this year. We saw that earlier.
Look at the smile.
Look at him. You just cannot get him off the water. This is typical.
Yeah.
Absolutely typical. Just he's a pro rider for a reason, and you know, when you spend that long on the water, your body and your mechanics just are so tuned. I honestly, I reckon he does 6 hours a day.
Easily, I mean, and going back to that move, jumps, put the board in between his leg, unhooks, does the pass, and still tries to get it underneath him. I guarantee you he's going to try this again.
Yeah, one-man show. The competition's over, but what the hell, we've got live stream going on. We're waiting to hear from the best guys. Ayrton, he wants to land this boogie loop. We want him to land the boogie loop. Is he going to go for it? He's not. Oh, no, high handle pass again. Here we go.
Oh! So close. I mean,
very, very different to the 313, which he's become famous for, which is blowing the minds of everybody around the world. Real wake style. Look how much fun he's having. Come on, third time lucky, and he's going to do it again.
He's just loving it. This is his show. This is where you can just see he's happy, and it's why Ayrton is where he is. He's, you know, competition's over. most people would come out, chill, and just enjoy it. And he is out there enjoying it and still trying to progress the sport. That's why he takes this sport to new levels. Look at that. Board in between the leg. Pulls it. Does the old dangle handle pass. Gets it. And almost, unfortunately, got the foot underneath the board there.
How does he stop his fins from getting in the lines there? And the rodeo. Right, come on. Come on.
Third time lucky.
This is unexpected. This is a bonus. This is a bonus, everybody.
He goes, face of determination, eye of the tiger. Up, board, unhook, pass, better. Oh, doable.
He'll have that down by the next event, Joe.
I was going to say, that looks doable. Not for any human person, but as he is the alien, it's going to be possible for him.
Puff of the cheeks. Here it comes.
Oh, bam.
That is incredible.
Clunk. I mean, without a doubt, that is the reason why, like you see there on screen, he is the 2018 champion.
Yeah. You say, Joe, this is not one that we've seen him go for. You know, the difficulty with strapless freestyle is you've got one hand on the bar and you're coming into landing, coming down from that high handle pass. He's not able to, when you're hooked in, he's able to inject a kite loop that's going to give him forward trajectory. The problem here is he's coming down pretty vertically. He's holding on to the end of the bar, so the kite is looping, but perhaps it's not looping to give him forward momentum. So he's just struggling to get the board. Struggling to get the board underneath him as he came down, but just 3 attempts into that. It just shows how quickly he improves, doesn't it?
Insane. I mean, the control he has over the board and over his body is amazing. He is as one throughout that whole maneuver. It's insane, and that's why he is one of the best strapless freestylers, if not the best strapless freestyler out there.
Yeah, one of the most approachable riders as well, and it's just everything is so genuine. It's pure enjoyment of kiteboarding. Look, this is what you get with him. Wherever he travels, this is why he is so popular, not just because he is a part alien, part man, has incredible video parts and just bends the mind in terms of what's possible with a kite and a board, but just loves the crowd and is really, really approachable. And you just can't get him off the water. So what do you reckon? Are you going to go for this again?
He's going to go for this again, knowing him. I mean, one of the great things about Ayrton is textbook. I know recently he's just come back from Union Island with Jeremy Tronette. They've been shooting the Strapless Academy for Duotone. So if you want to see this guy and learn his tricks, you can tune into that. But this is why he is who he is. 4th time, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets this. There you go. Up, unhooks, handle pass, more control. Actually got 2 hands back on the bar there, but yeah, I mean, such a complex maneuver.
I can't work out how he's going to do it because he's obviously got to hold the board coming in. So most riders, when you see this done on a twin tip, they get that second hand up there. See, and that's the difficulty, isn't it? He just loses the board.
Not attached to the board, but
he's got a plan. I can't work it out myself, but
he's trying it.
Let's see. Jigsaw puzzle being put together right in front of your eyes here.
Yeah, a game of Jenga here right now.
Champion jigsaw player, Ayrton Kite-Surf. Let's see.
Yeah, he needs to get that pass, hold it in one hand while he's grabbing the board to be able to position it. But by grabbing the bar with one hand, that kite's going to be looping underneath him. And yeah, to actually get the board in the right position. I mean, I don't put it, if anybody can do it, it's going to be Mr. Cosolino, but I mean, about as complex as it comes.
And to be fair, these are great wins to keep trying it, aren't they? The riders have said all week how steady the wind is. And yeah, perfect conditions to be able to feel what's going wrong and right with your technique without having to worry about gusts and lulls. So what a place to try it. We do need him in for some kind of podium in a minute, though. So,
just ride in the wind. Ride in the wind. The Lone Ranger out there right now.
He's all we need at the minute, to be honest, Joe.
That's a show. I mean, he is the showman. It's all about pleasing that crowd, and if anybody can please a crowd, it's Mr. Ayrton Cosolino.
If you are just tuning in, this isn't a one-man competition. This is the end of the GKA Kite-Surf World Tour. We've had a special big air competition today as we wrapped up the World Championship round 6 of 7 yesterday. Ayrton Kite-Surf's just won the big air competition. We can't seem to get him in off the water. He's just trying to attempt this trick. He's going to unhook, do a high handle pass. He's had 4 attempts at it, got really, really close. Not quite made it.
Yeah, he seems, I mean, obviously, you'd think he'd start to be getting tired. I mean, he's been out there already for 4 hours. Now his competition's over, adrenaline's been pumping. But look at the smile. You can just see the teeth. He's absolutely stoked. I mean, who wouldn't be? 2 wins, both on the top of the podium in both disciplines here in Prea, Brazil, and still he's there progressing the sports and wants to get this new maneuver.
Yeah, wasn't going easy on the celebrations last night as well, Joe, but, you know.
Would you, Jim? Would
Absolutely
you go easy
not.
on the celebrations?
No,
not at all.
I can't handle it, mate.
It's about that overall ranking, day and night.
Yeah. When, you know, you just dream, don't you, about, I guess, when you're a professional kiteboarder, every podium is just another badge of honour. Ayrton is building them up. Here he comes. Flick of the hair, looking for the piece of chop, left hand out, ready to catch the board, send it with the right hand. Here we go. Up, up, unhook. Hander pass, he makes it this time. No.
Not quite getting it.
That could be it. We haven't seen him drop the kite yet. That could be it. He's going to come in at some point. We are going to hear from him.
We are going to hear from him. We are going to have a podium. Ayrton, a couple more tries and we might need you there to stand on the top. Earth to Ayrton. That's it. I'm done. No, I mean, beam me up, Scotty, and this is insane. Just to see the dedication, and that's what makes the difference in between a professional athlete. You know, they try, and you know, it's all about learning from your mistakes and analyzing why it's not happening, why you're not landing that maneuver. And you know, it's all very well to be a free kiter and free sessioning and, you know, having a good session, but to put all those maneuvers together in a 8-minute heat is that is insane.
He said he was done, but there is a little huddle of people on the beach egging him to go out again.
Starting to get tired.
Yeah, he had a bag of ice on his leg not an hour ago.
You wouldn't tell. You wouldn't tell.
No. But what can you say about Ayrton? I mean, this is a mixed world championship. We have pure wave riding events. We have mixed events. We have strapless freestyle events. It seems like this championship is purely made for this man at times. He is moulding surfboard riding elements and disciplines. So, one more attempt, and then we're going to see if he's going to come in. Here we go. No,
he's tired.
He's not getting the height on the takeoff, is he, as well? I mean, you must be tired. Even tiring that, isn't it? Six times having a go at that. But I think that is just about it from him. Probably just about it from us, Joe.
Yeah, been an absolute pleasure, guys and girls. Awesome to see the progression of this sport and to watch those finals from both Camille Delamare and Ayrton and Jalou and Carla. It's been amazing. And yeah, thanks ever so much for tuning in to this first live stream of the GKA. Jim, it's been a pleasure, and hope to see all of you guys tuning in soon.
Yeah, don't miss the final round in Australia coming up from the 12th of December at Torquay, Melbourne. Championships will be decided. It will be the final. It's the 7th event. And yeah, we can't wait. We'll be there next month bringing you all the news. But for now, what a pleasure it's been. Thanks to everyone at Prea, from Josie Astula and Jim Gorn. We hope to see you again soon. See you later.
Take care, guys.